Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303. Introducing one co-host with more nuggets than Chick-fil-A, Nick Morahan. Executive producer until we find someone better, Eric Washington. Nobody really knows what he does around here, Nevada Putnam. And now, the single greatest thing to happen to hosting in history, Jermaine Antonio Colon Mendez. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303, episode 303. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host. As always, we have with us the executive producers, the EPE, and Nutty Putty. On today's podcast, we'll get into a blind five, courtesy of Nevada himself, and we'll finish up this week's divisional breakdowns for the MLB with the NL Central, a.k.a. the Cubbies Doghouse. How you doing this evening, Nevada?
Good. Can't complain. Sports, we're starting to get to the pinnacle of sports. March Madness, the home stretch for the NBA, NHL playoffs. I'm ready.
I thought it was what was Eric's pick? October, just the entire month of October.
It's a fantastic month for sports.
Favorite sports moment or something like that.
Yeah.
No,
The whole month of October's fire.
I love the end of spring, end of college basketball. It goes right into playoff hockey, playoff basketball, and then the NFL draft. Because here's the thing, the Saints aren't good. And for some reason, we keep spending money we ain't got. So, which, first of all, I got to call up Mickey Loomis and be like, how is we swinging this, big fella? Because it's spectacular what we're able to pull off. I don't even understand anymore. And this is a dude who reads everything about the cat. But anyways, I digress. How you doing this evening, Eric?
Doing good, man. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, typically, if your team doesn't win the Super Bowl, you have, soccer, or it's not soccer, but basketball or hockey to look forward to. But because my favorite sports town is so shitty at those sports, we're going to have to ride this Super Bowl wave all the way through at least August. So at least we got that one. You know what I mean?
You have the Phillies.
Yeah, but baseball season doesn't start for the Phillies until August. You know what I mean? We're gonna smash the division, win first. Playoffs is when the season starts for Phillies fans.
Get your own take. Baseball season doesn't start till after the trade deadline.
That's a good way to look at it, dude.
I've been saying it for decades, bro.
And I do think the Phillies are gonna win it this year, legitimately. Legitimately, without bias, I think the Phillies are the best built team to win it.
Without bias?
With extreme and without bias. You know what I mean? Like at the same time.
Nevada. Get a load of this guy.
Interesting. What's the term in 1984 where you have like the dual double speak?
Oh, yeah. King of that shit.
Bro, he loves it.
I just call it parlaying my arguments.
The contradiction and the hypocrisy is crazy.
I'm just parlaying, dude.
And whenever I call out the contradiction and hypocrisy, he's like, fuck you, bro. I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's a defense mechanism.
You're clearly wrong right now.
Can't be wrong when you're on both sides, dude. Statistically impossible.
This is why you were never really upset about rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah. Anyway, got a jam-packed episode. Let's get into it before we turn this into the Eric spectacle.
Dude, anytime you're on screen, dog, the man is like, I don't like attention. I was like, really? Because that's not how you operate, bro.
I don't like attention when I'm not in control of it.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.
Who are they drafting in the first round, Eric?
I think we're going to get James Pierce from Tennessee, or we're going to get I can't remember the safety what school he's at, but we've got a safety that we're really that Howie's really in love with. From Georgia or Bama, one of the two, I can't remember.
Malachi Starks?
No, I think that guy's going to be way off the board by the time.
Yeah, that's why I thought.
Yeah, it's another one. It's like number 6 for Bama. Like, Super
Was
good.
played for Ohio State and Bama.
No, that's Caleb Starks, isn't it? Or Downs? Caleb Downs, right? Yeah. No, I wish it was Caleb Downs, but he's not coming out, is he? I don't
Is
think
he
he's coming
not?
out until next year. No.
Oh my god, I don't know. It feels like that dude's been playing ball forever. So
Taking the Brandon Reading route, dude.
dog. What was the game this year? They had 28-year-old quarterback versus 28-year-old quarterback. Do you remember it? I think it was Big 12. It was like Utah versus like
Utah versus it's Cam Rising versus fuck, dude.
it for sure involved Cam Rising. Because that man's had like 87 season-ending injuries.
It's a Big 12 program. Fuck. It'll come to us. It'll come to us.
All right, Nevada, are you back with us? Can you hear us? Blink twice if you're in danger.
No, I'm good. I think I just had to switch the internet connection.
All
So
right,
I think we're cocked and locked now.
Whoa, that must be a Colorado term. That means something different in San Diego.
Yeah. Anywho, moving into PCP. You ready, fellas?
Yeah, a PCP or blind five?
Or yeah, sorry, blind five.
Yeah, we're ready.
1 through 6.
Give us a number, Eric.
Schmitty wears 6, so I'll go number 1.
Okay. First up is The Lonely Island.
Oh, parody bands. And they're fire. Dick in a Box, Sex on a Boat.
Oh, that was
Good shit.
I thought that was the name of the song. So that's also the name of the band.
That's the name of the band, yeah.
The Lonely Island. Okay.
3 or 2, Jermaine. That's my opinion, but I'll leave it up to you. Motherfucker. They have the song.
No. They have great songs.
Yeah.
I'm good with 3. I'm just debating if we want to open with 2, but let's go with 2. I like them.
Okay.
I don't know a ton of parody bands either, but if Weird Al isn't on this list, I'm gonna boot Nevada, and he's never on another podcast.
Well, I get parody seems kind of disrespectful because they actually made real music.
They all make real music, brother.
You can buy the album. It's real.
So, Jermaine, I will say I left Weird Al off just because he'd be anybody's number 1. It was too obvious.
Oh, okay.
So
so I hedged, and I'm not even gonna get my number 1.
Right.
All right, bet.
So,
Fuck me.
All right. Next up is the Dan Band.
Oh, great in all the movies. I think he should be number 1. He's like in he does all the weddings. He does the I got the magic stick, but he does it all like sexy and good because I can't do it like that.
Who?
The Dan Band, bro, from all the Judd Apatow movies and Rogan movies where he does the wedding singing. He's like the wedding band. Oh my
Go
god!
ahead, you pick where it's at.
Dude, Dan Band fucks.
I'm drawing a blank, dog.
The band in The Hangover at the wedding.
I'm drawing a blank, boys, and I've seen every one of the movies that you have just said.
I would. Oh man, Nevada, tell me what else is on the list so I can rank this.
Okay.
Properly.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I would go 1 because he does some great renditions of some fire songs.
I'm good. They're in a lot of fire movies, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah, we'll go the Dan Band 1. Yeah,
my number 1's not even on the list, so I ain't even like that committed no more.
I shot my load, dude. I shot my load. I know it, but whatever.
All right.
Is there really that many parody bands? Well, I'm gonna find out. Go ahead, Nevada. What's the next one?
I came up with 6, but all right. Next up is Psycho Stick.
Trying to think where that's from. Let me place it.
They're not in any movies. They're from Phoenix.
I'd like to pick the category though. Parody bands.
I'm sure I've listened to them, but I'll just put them at 5 because I don't really. Damn.
So they're not in movies, you said?
Psycho Stick, no.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. What are they in, or what are they known for?
They're like their genre is kind of more like metal, but they have a parody song of Bodies by Drowning Pool, where it's I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. They got a pretty sick 7-second song that's pretty exciting.
It's only 7 seconds long.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to see live because they could just sprinkle that in over and over again randomly throughout the show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That'd be pretty good. Like as they transition to the next song.
Yeah.
I just never heard of them. That makes 2 of 3 so far, so I'm struggling.
That's right. All right.
You heard the damn band. You've seen the movies.
Yeah.
I have seen the movies, yeah. I just didn't know they had a name, basically.
Oh, yeah. Next up is going to be Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, they're good, but number 4.
Yeah. 4. And it's mainly because they're Australian.
New Zealand, you know?
Oh, is it New Zealand? Same ruckus.
Same side of the earth.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Same goofy ass accent. Fuck out of here.
All right. And then, easy, Roscoe. And then I see you. Number 3 is going to be, number 3 will be Wheeler Walker Jr.
Oh, I'm good with that. I've heard one song of his, and it's hysterical. Absolutely preposterous.
Is that the guy who sings, is it like something about I hate this job or?
Fuck this job.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't really listen to him much, but I'm happy with the placement.
Born to fuck.
Yeah. Weird Al would have definitely been number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Nevada was right. Like, Weird Al is pretty much untouchable. Like, when you make an accordion dope, you've done something special.
We need the Weird Al and Andre 3000 album to come out next. A flute, an accordion, some rap songs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about dueling accordions, like
dueling accordions with Erykah Badu in the back, just going.
Yeah, Wheeler Walker Jr. is. I like him, but he's not better than the 2 that we have. I think it's a good list. I probably would have put Lonely Island first, but I hedged for an artist that wasn't on the list. So
I like it. I like it.
It's pretty good.
And I'm not mad that Dan Band is one, dude. I'm not.
I'm
gonna watch one of those movies tonight because of this.
They seem pretty popular based off like the movies they were in. So it's
they're in Step Brothers too, right? They're the guys performing in Step Brothers at the Catalina Wine Mixer.
No.
Oh, okay.
Were they were they in Old School?
That's what I was gonna ask, but I don't know. So first of all, I don't know them what they look like to place them. So it's like,
you know what band you should have put on here, Nevada? That Matt Damon band from that when he sings Scotty Doesn't Know, whatever band that's called. What movie was that from?
I don't remember, but I'm picturing the scene right now. Bro, Eurotrip has gained a lot of popularity recently. Why is that? Why is that
girl died? Because the girl died. The actress.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah. Right. So because of that. And then Gene Hackman died, so now everybody's watching Runaway Jury and that one submarine movies, and it just happens. Like they die, and then Netflix just blasts their shit at you.
Runaway Jury was on like the top of Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'd never seen this movie before, so I watched it.
Yeah, but I mean, they did it because Gene Hackman.
I also didn't know he died.
Yeah,
I've slowly but surely like stopped using social media to like be plugged into random events that just don't impact me anymore, because it's such a toxic place now.
Did you know the Captain Holt's dead?
I did know that. Yeah, it's a bummer because they're trying to bring back another season, and I'm like, how can you do it?
There's no season without Captain Holt.
How can you do it without the man, the myth, the legend, dude? Ray Bowers? Come on now.
So the Dan Band has been in Old School, The Terminal, Starsky and Hutch, and The Hangover.
God damn. They must have good drugs because that's the only way they're getting invited, dude.
It's funny every time because the song is like in The Hangover. It's right in line with the original song, and then he just changes the lyrics just enough, and the way he delivers it. Oh man, because they're only on in the movie for maybe 20 seconds. That's all you see of them is 20 seconds of them doing some song as a live band.
Candy
everyone-
Shop.
And you guys are all on my ass because I don't remember 20 seconds of a film.
Exactly.
So
Sure
his wedding album covers are Making Love Out of Nothing at All, Bump and Grind, Do It Tonight, Three-Way, Irreplaceable, I Can't Believe I Love You, Drunk in Love, Candy Shop, Making Love Forever, Total Remix of the Heart. That's his wedding album covers. And then he's got a Christmas one, but we don't got to get into that.
He missed one song that he needs for that. He needed to put a little Pretty Ricky on that wedding album.
Just dip you in honey.
Grind on me.
Oh my god, dude!
Come on now.
It would work, definitely.
Bro, I'm like Loki a Pretty Ricky stan, bro.
Dude.
No, it's a good list though, Nevada. I like that list. I might have to check out that Psycho Stick, man. I ain't never heard of that one. All the other ones I have heard of. One of them my brain didn't even register.
I think one of my favorite songs is Girl Directions.
By Psycho Stick?
Yeah.
I'll go check it out.
Girl
Because especially for you, Eric, because you lived in the Phoenix area. Well, I guess you guys both did, but because they're from the Phoenix area, so when she's describing how to get there, she's like using Phoenix
Streets,
like landmarks and stuff. So you'll be like listening to it, and you'll be like, God, I can picture this where this is exactly how a girl would give directions.
yeah,
it's so wild. Like people who don't register street signs break my brain.
I lived with a buddy. He's not gonna listen, so I'll say his name, Hanky. For the first 1 year, we lived at the house. He GPSed his way home and to work every day. Every day for a year. At the same job to the same home that he worked at every day. He would GPS it.
Didn't move.
Without a doubt. Hop in the car. What's the address to work? Dog, just drive that way and then take a left and you're at work. What streets? Oh my God, dude.
The thing is, it was just like, you just get to the first main street, you take that bitch north, and you hang a left. And that's
all you had to do, and you would literally pull into the parking lot.
You could crash into the restaurant, bro. That's amazing, bro.
Man.
Some people some people are just directionally challenged, and
Dude,
I don't know what.
Out of Phoenix, lived there for 3 years. Haven't really been back and driven. I go back. They've done all kinds of constructions, and I still had a better sense of direction than this motherfucker. I was like, dude, I don't live in the city. How?
Well, Phoenix is perfectly gridded out, though.
He didn't even know how to give me directions because I picked him up for the wedding rehearsal. He didn't even know how to give me directions to his own home. I was like, what street do I turn on? He's like, just put it in the GPS. I was like, God. Tell me what street to turn on. I know where I am.
All right, yeah, I think you'll love that song then. exactly what your anger and frustration is captured in 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Well, I'm gonna send that shit to him after I listen to it. This is you, but you have the wrong chromosomes to be giving directions like this.
I love that it's called Girl Directions. It's amazing. When you hit a 7-Eleven, turn left.
It's exactly what it's like.
When the road gets a little bumpy, but not too bumpy. If it gets too bumpy, you've gone too far. It's like, what? How am I supposed to figure that out?
Yeah. What is too bumpy? Is rib for her pleasure too bumpy? Anyways, we've gone too far. I got another question for you guys. How soon is too soon to say, well, I guess Christmas has come early?
Like I said, I think it's generally just on the grandeur, the size of the blessing. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you think that term is positive?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
You think Christmas is coming is a bad thing?
Yeah, dude. People suck around Christmas.
Yeah, but you take that out of the equation, you get to be around family, you get good food, you get basketball, all day. You get football now all day for some reason. You know what I mean? There's a lot of positives to Christmas.
Yeah, but getting to Christmas is exhausting. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
dude, I'm a Grinch. I don't even like Christmas, but I can
don't
see
like anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I can see how it's a positive thing that Christmas is coming. Like, you get to be around family.
I just don't think I've never heard anyone say that positively. Like
What?
someone, I'm just saying, like someone got jury duty. I guess Christmas came early. Like jury duty is not a positive thing, and I believe in your civic duty, but I'm not hyped for jury duty.
I just feel like the people that have been using it around you have been using it wrong.
Dude, you might not be as much of a Grinch as you think. Then
I still dislike the shit out of Christmas.
I
I get it twisted.
think Eric likes the complicated situationships and stuff like that.
Yeah, that might be pretty accurate.
That's his Christmas.
Yeah.
He's like Beyonce now.
I don't know. Let's get into baseball. What are we doing here, guys?
All the single ladies. All right, let's get into baseball. You have the sheet. You're the one driving this portion. What do you want?
Listen,
hey,
great driver in real life, terrible driver on the podcast.
Producers produce. This is what I've been trying to tell y'all for a while. You
All right, fall in line, soldier. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So we're jumping into what? The NL Central here. Last year, the Milwaukee
again.
The Milwaukee Brewers got first, and they were the only team from the division to make the playoffs. The Cubs finished second, Cardinals finished third, Reds finished fourth, and the Pittsburgh Skeens finished fifth. Odds have changed a little bit. Chicago is favored. They're plus 3,000 for the World Series, plus 125 to win the NL Central, minus 140 to make the playoffs, and their line is 85.5. Jermaine, what do you got for your team?
Oh, well, we kind of skipped over the free agents and additions, and I will make one note for the audience who are like, the Cubs didn't finish second. I was like, we had the same record as the Cardinals, so we're putting them second on this goddamn podcast. Go ahead and give us the transactions to that.
Yes, so the Cubs, Drew Smyly's still outstanding. A lot of acquisitions. Outfielder Kyle Tucker, pitchers Matthew Boyd, Ryan Presley, Eli Morgan, catcher Carson Kelly, the oldest first baseman I can think of, Justin Turner, pitchers Caleb Thielbar, Ryan Brazier, Colin Ray, third baseman John Bertie, pitcher Cody Poteet, utility Vidal Brujan, and infielder Nicky Lopez. Subtractions, outfielder Cody Bellinger, pitcher Kyle Hendricks, outfielder Mike Tauchman, pitcher Jorge Lopez, third baseman Isaac Paredes, and pitcher Hayden Wesniewski.
Look, I'm not trying to sound too negative, but it's like we added a lot of inning eaters, at bat eaters, but we didn't really do a whole lot of significant movement. We lost a lot of valuable pieces from the year prior. Getting rid of Cody is kind of a bummer, especially after the acquisition of Kyle Tucker. I thought we were just going to have an abundance. Cody Bellinger could have played DH for us. We don't have a DH, right? It's like any one of those outfielders, like as we're monitoring their whoop or whatever the new technology is for it, but that tells you who's tired and who's not. Put them at DH and the other person plays in the outfield. That's the beauty of that kind of versatility. But then they were like, well, we can't pay very much money, even though we're a $5.3 billion valued organization, and we sell out religiously despite 108 years of losing. So I'm not as high on this Cubs team as every single person who seems to discuss them. Now, we happen to play in a weak division, as is evidenced anytime we talk about baseball. The Central divisions are the weakest. They don't have the markets to compete with the East and Western teams or, the high populous areas. But Chicago is that market. Like, Chicago is that market. And for some reason, we're still being douchey about it. So I will say the one complaint I had all of last year, well, that's not true. Let's be honest. I had several complaints. But towards the end of the year, my biggest gripe, besides the hot corner, because I've been bitching about third base for 3 years now, was who's our star player? Hey, we went out and answered that question decisively in free agency, adding Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is not talked about because he played behind Bregman and Altuve and those guys, and Yordan Alvarez won Rookie of the Year. And then they had fantastic pitchers. Kyle Tucker is quietly one of the best hitters in baseball, quietly a 5-tool player, plus defender, runs the base path, can hit for power, can hit for average. And so I'm not trying to be too doom and gloom. And the Cubs had finished with 83 and 79 back-to-back seasons. So it's not like they had to do too much to go out and win this division. They needed to do fringe additions and subtractions, and boy, did they take that seriously. Because that is exactly what they did with the fringe additions and subtractions. So 85.5, I think, is a lot because I just don't see like the significant improvements, and there is a gigantic question mark at third baseman. Matt Shaw is set to be called up from the prospects, a top 100 prospect in every list that you look at, and it just depends on whatever list you're looking at where he's ranked. But he's always upward of top 50. So he's going to get first crack at taking a full-time spot at third base. And if he can deliver and hit and play above average defense, next to Dansby, next to Nico Horner, we're going to have a pretty good defensive infield, which we had 2 years ago. So all that being said, I'll take the over. I don't think I'm picking them to win this division. And I'll have to talk through the other teams, but I'm just too pessimistic because I'm too attached.
No, I think that's fair. I have them over on wins as well. I do not have them winning the division. But yeah, like you said, bringing in Kyle Tucker from Houston was a massive get for him, considering that they lost Bellinger. I think, they're still probably at least a player or two away from kind of making more of a stranglehold on the division, which obviously they could very well make before the trade deadline. But I think they very much will be in contention in that top, I'll say at least top 3, if not top 2 for the division. So it'll be close. Again, I don't have them for the division, but I will go over on the wins if they're going to compete for the division.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: so we kind of both see it the same way, and if everything hits the way they are forecasting it to hit, then they very easily win this division.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot that has to go right. So they don't make the playoffs then.
Yeah, I think they'll be right in that group of teams fighting for the final wild card spot. One of those things where they're 4 games back with 2 weeks to go or something. One of those kind of situations. So they're going to have to be winning, which is why I think they'll hit the over. But yeah, I think it'll be tight for them. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get the division.
Yeah, because I don't know what you had for the last one off the top of my head, but I've got Mets, Braves, Phillies all making it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that takes 3, and then you have the 2 division winners. If we don't have the Cubs as one of those division winners, are they better than the Diamondbacks? Are they better than the Padres? Are they better than the Giants?
Yeah, that's a tall order to meet.
And it's just like, dude, we're not even spending that much money relative to most other teams, like to the top teams, and we're a big market. Go get somebody. Like we need an ace. Like we need an ace. Like Shota is fantastic. I think he's a terrific pitcher. I don't think he's a number one. Justin Steele, terrific pitcher. I don't think he's a number one. We need an ace. We need a guy to go be number one. But
Shota's in his second year, right?
it's his second year. But he's an older prospect.
Let's give the man a chance. He might be an ace.
What do you mean? He's 30 years old.
That's all right. All right.
He's our opening day starter. He is, but he's 31 already. So
Hey.
Shota is what he is.
That's
Like,
prime baseball age, dude.
I mean, you're not incorrect. You're not incorrect. But I just like our staff, and then we traded Wes Nasty in the Isaac Paredes trade, which from an analytics perspective for the Astros, the way he pulls balls to that left-hand side in the Astros park, which is so just literally sits in the outfield, he's going to hit an ungodly amount of home runs, and everyone's going to think he's good, but it's because he plays in the Astros stadium. I don't know, man. I'm just negative. I got them not making the playoffs. I'm saying it now. We're going to miss it again, dude. I would be stunned if we don't go 83 and 79 again.
Damn. Well,
I'm taking the over. Anyways.
Before we move into Milwaukee, I'll say I have the Cubs winning the division. I have faith. I think the fans deserve it. So I think they'll go over and win the division. And it'll be a pretty relatively easy cakewalk for them. They'll win 92.5 games.
92.5.
They'll win 92 games. All right. Moving into the next one, last year's first place winner, the Milwaukee Brewers, plus 5,000 for the World Series, plus 260 for the NL Central, plus 125 to make the playoffs. Their over-under is 83.5. Nevada.
Roscoe is a menace. Is
Yeah.
that him barking?
Yeah, in the backyard, and it's dark out. Like, I don't know what he sees out there that he decides he needs to yell at, but
He's that kid from Sixth Sense.
yeah, probably hears something in the field out there and is freaking out. But Brewers, no notable free agents outstanding. They got a bunch of pitchers that they signed. Pitcher Nestor Cortez, Jose Quintana, Grant Anderson, Elvin Rodriguez, Tyler Alexander, Grant Wolfram, and outfielder Mark Canha signs a minor league deal. Notable subtractions: shortstop Willie Adames, Devin Williams, Frankie Montas, catcher Gary Sanchez, Hobie Milner, Joe Ross, Wade Miley, and Colin Ray.
So, look, I hate this team. I hate the Milwaukee Brewers. They only exist because of the last commissioner's nepotism, and it pisses me off. But good on them for making shrewd moves similar to the Cleveland Guardians and the Tampa Bay Rays, and always keeping a competitive roster. The additions of Nestor Cortez and Jose Quintana for not much cost for the amount of wins those guys, they can both be 15-win pitchers. Mm-hmm. And they didn't give in to Willie Adames' market and overpay for a star that isn't as big a star as he thinks he is. Here's the thing. Jury's still out. Willie Adames could become that star that they think he is. But as of right now, they weren't comfortable paying him that money. And I think I kind of agree with them. Gary Sanchez, Frankie Montas, both contributors for that team, but they're gone. And now you're hoping that Christian Yelich will come back and get back to the form that he has played at before, which is borderline NL MVP. Never quite the MVP because he's not. I mean, now he's dealing with Shohei and Juan Soto. And, you know what I mean? Like the NL MVP, you got to do something special now to win it. which used to always be the AL MVP. The AL MVP always had to have some gnarly season. So now the NL MVP is kind of caught up to that. But to be in discussion, you're obviously a tremendous player. So I think it's terrifically run organization. They scout well, they draft well, they develop well, they bring in key free agents, and they let guys go before they're about to be not as good, right? They got rid of Josh Hader. Josh Hader hasn't been as good as he was with the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Corbin Burns, fantastic with the Milwaukee Brewers, pretty good with the Baltimore Orioles. Wasn't as good as he was with the Brewers. And you just kind of see the same cyclical nature. So I'm done doubting. I've doubted, I think, 3 years in a row I've picked them to go under. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to go yes to make the playoffs. I'm going to go yes to win the division. And as Eric likes to say, they'll win 92.5 games.
Yeah, I think the Brewers are obviously in contention for the division as evidenced by their odds. But I think if I had to pick between, Cubs, Brewers, between the two of them, the Brewers have been there and done that, and they've shown that they can do it. Obviously, when they get to playoffs, different story. But as far as a regular season team, they have shown they can. Yeah, they've shown they can get it done. They do get back. Brandon Woodruff, who was out most of the year last year after some surgery. So that helps with your starting pitching. Losing Adames does hurt, but I think getting Nestor Cortez is a good addition that can help them as well. They're still, banking on some increased productivity from Jackson Chourio, who I'm not mistaken, last year was his rookie year, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, he was outstanding last year. He just happened to play in the same rookie season as Jackson Merrill, Shota Imanaga, and Paul Skeens. So nobody's talking about him.
Right. Yeah, but he was highly touted coming in to the league, and so far he has shown up to that hype. So I was going to go really off the board for a division winner, but I'll take the Brewers as division winners right now. And I'll take over 83.5. Or do I stick with my gut?
Stick with the gut. If I know who I think you were going with, I say stick with your gut.
Okay, yeah. I'll take them not to win the division, but I will take them over on their games.
Playoffs?
No, like Jermaine said, you got 3 from the East. You got probably guaranteed 2 from the West, if not. Yeah. So, yeah, you're just flat out running out of space.
Well, I mean, you have to have a division winner, so one team.
Yeah.
Right.
You only have to have that because of baseball's rules. Like,
yeah.
All right. So for now, no. Let's move on to St. Louis. Last year finished third, projected to finish third this year. Plus 12,000 for the World Series, plus 600 to win the NL Central, plus 360 to win or to make the playoffs, and 77.5 is their win total.
Yes, I'll touch base on what's throwing you off, Eric. So I was going to ask you this when we covered this division, because the Cardinals have better odds to win the division than the Reds, but have worse odds to win the World Series than the Reds, and worse odds to make the playoffs than the Reds, and are projected 1 win less than the Reds. So when I built this list, I was going to go through and change it. I said, fuck it, I'll just address it on the podcast. I was going to go through and change it because I built the list based off division win order, right? And then I just put the finish on the other side for the year prior, and then highlighted who made the playoffs. But when I was looking at that, I was like, how does Vegas like basically Houseway. if Houseway was a person, I was like, why do the Reds have a higher win total and a better chance to make the playoffs and a better chance to win the World Series, but a worse chance to win the division?
Yeah. I'll make this easy for the Cardinals as far as free agency goes. They didn't acquire anybody. They lost Goldschmidt, Andrew Kittredge. They haven't re-signed, but highly doubt that they will. DH Matt Carpenter, pitchers Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, and Keenan Middleton. That they literally did not bring anybody in. I mean, granted, yeah, probably some minor league stuff and something like that, but that's it. That is their transactions for the offseason.
Yeah, the players they got rid of, their utility had hit a shelf life.
And they're going to get rid of Arenado at some point.
And
that will happen.
Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado both didn't age very well, and that was kind of the cornerstones that they had built their team on prior to this. So the St. Louis Cardinals have signaled that they're in a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a very good pitching staff.
Mm-mm.
They no longer have hot corners that hit for power or field above average defensively for WAR. They have a catcher that they have a ton of money tied into that was supposed to be an offensive catcher and is not necessarily terrible, but he's not fantastic, and he's definitely not an above average defensive player. Their outfield has question marks, and so currently they're in the draft, trade, develop, and acquire young talent phase, and the St. Louis Cardinals are just trending in a different direction than a competitive team would know. 77.5 is a fantastic number because I still think they have talent on the roster to where they can get wins, but I'll take the under. I'll take the under, and I won't be surprised if they miss this by 10 games. And I also won't be surprised if they hit the over at 78. You know what I mean? So, like, they're just in a very interesting perspective. Nolan Arenado's all but gone. It's just a matter of when. Is it going to happen before the season starts, or is it going to happen at the trade deadline? And it'll hinge on what offers they get. But yeah, so it's under no to make the playoffs. I have them probably finishing last in this division, if I'm being honest. So I'll take them last. And I'll turn it over to you, Nevada.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. I'm going to take the under because the over would essentially mean they're a 500 team, and I don't see that. I think they'll probably be like a 72 win sort of team somewhere in there. I have them finishing last for this division. It's clear based on the offseason and them trying to get rid of Arenado that they're waving the white flag before the season started.
Yeah,
they know what's coming. They're just like, we just got to strip it down and start over new. So no all across the board, but yeah, I have them bringing up the rear in this division.
Cool.
Yeah, they made a lot of bets on players that just didn't pan out.
Yep.
And they, like, they're admitting it and they're working to correct it. And, they tried. They tried with Goldschmidt, Arenado. They kept rocking Flaherty. They brought in Lynn. They made moves. They had Sonny Gray for a while. Couldn't find a pitching rotation that worked. Couldn't find a reliable hitting rotation that had a steady MLB offense. And it's been great to see because, fuck the Cardinals. We can get into the next team, Eric.
All right. So next, last year's fourth place finisher, the Cincinnati Reds, plus 10,000 for the World Series, plus 650 to win the division, plus 300 to make the playoffs, and their win total or line is set at 78.5.
Reds have no outstanding free agents. Notable additions. Pitchers Nick Martinez, Brady Singer, Taylor Rogers, Wade Miley, and Scott Barlow. They brought in second baseman Gavin Lux from the Dodgers, outfielder Austin Hayes, and catcher Jose Trevino. Some subtractions for them. Pitchers Justin Wilson and Jacob Eunice. And then some infield, outfield subtractions. Jonathan India, Ty France, Ahmed Rosario, and Joey Weimer.
I think the Cincinnati Reds kind of crushed their offseason. For like the kind of market and team that they are, I think they upgraded at the positions that they got rid of. Ty France and Jonathan India, both very serviceable, above average infielders, but they're not anything to hang your hat on. They won't change an offense. Those are the kind of players you slot around a core, kind of like a Bryce Harper, Bryson Stott, Nick Castellanos, or a Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Acuna, and Matt Olson, Freddie Freeman, a Mookie Betts, a Shohei Ohtani. That's the kind of players that you slot around them because they're going to be above average players. They're going to be consistent. They're going to hang their hat on doing what you need them to do, hit for average, bunt, field correctly, and just make plus plays basically. And the Reds kind of upgraded at those kind of positions, and they brought in pretty decent pitching prospects. The Reds were a trendy pick last year to be just froggy is kind of the term that I'll use there. So I think the NL Central is kind of going to be similar to how the AL Central was last year. We'll have a 90-win team, and then we'll have the next three teams will all be over 500. So getting the line at 78.5 for the Cincinnati Reds is a no-brainer for me. I'll take the over. I'll take no to make the playoffs. I think they'll come up just short unless something miraculous of a player becoming not just all-star caliber, but he'd have to become, borderline. I don't know, superstar is probably a little too aggressive, but they'd have to establish themselves on the scene at the position. I just don't know if I see anyone for that squad to do it. So I'll take over, no to make the playoffs, just by proxy of how competitive the NL will be across the board other places. And I'll determine the division order when I get to the end.
I think Jermaine kind of said it. They did what they needed to in free agency, and I think more so those additions that I mentioned, all but looks like two of them were trades, which I think is even better for them because they didn't have to try to attract somebody. They went out and got people that teams had on their team that they were intending on keeping. And then for whatever reason, trade package, people getting pushed out like Gavin Lux, they were able to snag these players off of them. So these are what essentially would be starting players on other teams, and they were able to trade for them, which I think is more conducive to them improving than getting free agents and, either overspending or, you're missing out on a Juan Soto or something. So you start going down the list and start settling for whoever else is underneath. So going out and specifically targeting these guys, I think is a bigger benefit for them than free agency. I think they'll still be essentially, I guess, buyers when it comes to trade deadline. They could use some depth or an upgrade for third base. They could use pitching, anything they want. It's obviously not a fine or a finished product for this team, but I think what's their biggest benefit is their new manager, Terry Francona. He's probably the biggest addition that the team has. And Francona has been the manager for three teams: the Phillies, Red Sox, Guardians. In his first season with those teams, only one of them was not above 90 wins, and that was the buttwater Phillies his very first year as a manager. Outside of his 4 years with Phillies, he has had, if I looked at it correctly, only 2 years where his team has not finished at least or above 500. So he obviously knows how to manage. I think that's going to be their biggest benefit. That's why I'm taking them to win the division.
Let's go. I fucking knew it, dude. I knew it.
Terry Francona, the cheater.
Yep. Hey, cheaters win. So obviously over on the win total, and then obviously yes for division winner. But I think with the addition of Francona, and again them specifically going out to other teams to pluck players off their teams to fill what they want, I think is better than free agency and just picking from what's available out there. And like I said, I don't think they're done as far as adding talent, wherever that may be.
Nice.
Gavin Luck's most improved.
It could be just because he's not in the shade of Shohei and Mookie and Freeman.
Yeah,
that's a lot to overcome.
Job's pretty easy when those guys are in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, ask Juan Soto.
All right. Moving on to the last team in the NL Central, we have the Pittsburgh Skeens, plus 12,000 to win the World Series, plus 700 to win the division, plus 360 to make the playoffs, and they're 77.5 line as well.
Another pretty solid free agency for the Pittsburgh Skeens, as Eric said. Free agents still got Marco Gonzalez out there and Yasmani Grandal. Notable acquisitions: Andrew McCutchen is a glutton for punishment and came back to Pittsburgh. Spencer Horwitz, Tommy Pham, Andrew Heaney, Adam Frazier, Caleb Ferguson, Tim Miza, and Emmanuel Valdez all coming to Pittsburgh. Some subtractions. They lose Aroldis Chapman, Luis Ortiz, Brian De La Cruz, Connor Joe, and Michael Taylor.
This is another team that crushed the offseason. Just all good, average, above average baseball players to come in and supplement and insulate their young and up and coming stars. They've got an infield prospect, they've got an outfield prospect, they've got a pitching prospect, all on that could be on verges of superstardom. Paul Skeens is already there. Paul Skeens is already a bad dude.
Best pitcher in baseball.
You'd be hard pressed to find me to argue, bro. I'll give it to somebody who's proven it for longevity wise, but if he stays healthy, Paul Skeens is about to be a problem for years on end in this division.
Yep.
And it absolutely disgusts me. At least the Cubs have a star now. Shout out my boy Kyle Tucker. So you don't have to hear that complaint anymore. But guess what? Lock in for 162 games of who the fuck is our third baseman. No, I like what the Pirates did. The players that they brought in, Tommy Pham is perennially on winning baseball teams.
Yep.
Adam Frazier comes in and impacts winning on baseball teams. Like, that's what these players are always signed for and they're brought in for. And that's why they're always switching teams, but they always stay relevant. And these are just the kind of players you kind of want to bring into your team and build with. And I think Pittsburgh did a good job. And so this is another over for me. And that's what makes this division impossible to choose what happens, because there are 4 teams that legitimately have a shot at winning this division that aren't named the St. Louis Cardinals. Fucking losers. But it's like, it just depends on what order and who starts hot or who gets hot late, who makes the key addition at the trade deadline, who suffers the injury that derails the season, right? Because that's bound to happen anywhere. And so you're counting on who has the best manager, which is why Nevada's bet is fantastic. You're counting on who has the best pitching staff, which is why going with Pittsburgh with Paul Skeens is not a bad idea. That's why Milwaukee brought in so many additions there. And this is going to be similar how the AL Central had last year, where unfortunately for them, due to the depth in the NL, they won't have the same representation in the postseason, but it's going to be a truly competitive division. The other teams aren't going to want to see anybody from the NL Central because they can lose on any given night to those teams. I'll stick with where I'm at with everything else, but I'm going to go with no to make the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think they win 82 games this season. Minimum, I'd be surprised if they don't go above 500. And then to round it out, I'll probably go first for Milwaukee. I'll go second Chicago. I'll go third for Pittsburgh. And I'll go fourth for Cincinnati.
All right. Nevada, what's your take on the Pittsburgh Skeens? Let's get that name right, boys. It's not the Pirates anymore. It's the Skeens. He owns that city.
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz might have something to say about that. Cruise missile, baby.
Yeah. Andrew McCutcheon might have something to say.
Bro, that dude really loves losing, dude.
Yeah, he is by far the heart and soul of the Pirates. I see them kind of like obviously different I guess ceilings, but they're kind of like Cleveland as far as their offseason goes. I would have been more inclined to take them had they just decided, let's be more active and try to push the chips into the table a bit more. Because you're obviously getting, particularly on the pitching staff, a young core together led by Skeens. My concern is with Skeens, how hard he's throwing. I'm sure you guys have probably heard Nick say it, but at some point, nobody has escaped some sort of significant injury throwing that hard, that consistently. Is this different for Skeens? Is he going to be able to break that trend? I don't know. Does it happen this year? I don't know. But at some point it does seem to happen. I would like to take Pittsburgh, but again, they just didn't do a whole lot in the offseason to move the needle above some other teams. They're pretty much the same team that they had last year. Like Jermaine said, Tommy Pham comes over, and he's just a guy that somehow you look up and it's September, October, and some team has Tommy Pham on there, and you're not sure where he was all year, but there he is. So
just hitting postseason doubles. Like, where the fuck this guy come from?
Yeah, he goes 1 for 3, and you're like, that dude. 1, he's still in the league, but 2, he's on a team in the playoffs. So I think Pittsburgh's on the right track. I just wish their ownership group would just take some more ownership and put some more chips into the table. But it is what it is. So as far as division, I got the Reds. I'll go Reds, Brewers, Cubs, Skeens, and then that team in the middle of the country to bring up the rear.
Fukum. We don't say that. Fukum.
And let's see, 77.
If it helps, they won 76 last year.
It's pretty much the same team. I guess I'll go over because Skeens was out or didn't play for this is almost the first month, wasn't it, last year?
He only got I think he only had 20 starts, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I remember we were clamoring for him. Like, why is he not on the opening day roster? This is by far the best pitching prospect that you guys have, and probably in the league. And he's not even on the opening day roster. And then obviously when he showed up, it was like, you should have had him on the opening day roster. The dude's crushing.
So he played 23 games, so you should get another 9, probably another 8.
Sure.
Another 9, probably 32 in a season. This sounds about right if I'm doing the math correctly, and I'm not doing any math right now because I've been drinking beer. No, the same people clamored for Jackson Holiday, and then he got called up and fucking struggled. We fucking hated to see that. So it's like, it's a lose-lose, and he'll be fine. As long as I just hope he doesn't get hurt. And I heard Deval say it because he's an animal, but we don't want to talk about that.
No, I love watching the guy pitch. It's just, yeah.
I hate it, but for a completely different reason.
Sure. Eric, who's winning this division?
I'm taking the Cubs. They'll figure out the third base situation.
Oh yeah,
and I do believe Shota will be one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, even though their biggest fan that I know doubts him. But I got them going over, winning the division. And then I'll finish out. Cincinnati will get second. The Skeens will get third. Milwaukee will get fourth, and based purely on hate, the Cardinals will get fifth. But the Cubs will be the only team to make the playoffs. They'll be over. Brewers, Cardinals under, and then obviously if the Reds and Pirates are gonna get second and third, I'm gonna have to go over on them.
First of all, if it works out in your ideologue, I'm with it, dog. A Cubs, Reds, Pirates, Brewers, Cardinals finish to the division. Let's go. I hate them all.
I just like St. Louis and Milwaukee, so I would like to see them finish fifth both, but one of them has to finish fourth.
It also might be a byproduct of listening to me bitch about them for about 15 years.
The Brewers, yes. The Brewers is definitely all your fault. But no, the Cardinals, I could not stand them growing up.
Yeah, nobody likes the Cardinals.
I could not stand the Cardinals growing up, dude.
That's my favorite part of the podcast. It's like nobody likes the Cardinals on this podcast. I was like, all right, dude, I can show
football
up
team or the
Cubs.
baseball team.
Like the football team, ain't nobody.
Yeah, like fuck them. Stealing my coach, my favorite lineman.
Favorite my ass. Your favorite lineman's on the team.
Second favorite.
The Cardinals just down in Arizona catching strays. Like, we haven't done anything to anybody.
Honestly, though, it's like I know this is totally off subject, and I don't even know how we got here, but
it's because you're on the podcast.
Having, I always forget his name. Majoro, you know what I'm talking about? The guy from Texas. Majoro.
I don't even know what you're trying to.
The lineman, the D lineman for the Eagles that went to Texas. Moro Majoro. I always forget his name.
Oh, I didn't know you guys had a D lineman that went to Texas.
Yeah, and then Jalix Hunt. So we'll be all right, dude. Be all right. But Josh Sweat was second. Anyway, let's get back to baseball because we don't need to talk about the Eagles anymore.
I guess, yeah. Let's move on. I didn't catch the point you were going after, but yeah, back to trashing the Cardinals. They got a shit locker room.
Yeah, dude. Fuck them.
Moro Ojomo. Okay, that's who.
Moro Ojomo. Yeah, that's a crazy name, dude.
I didn't know he was on your team.
Yeah.
Neither did Eric. He just knew it was some guy with a wacky name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to Texas.
He said Isaac Okoro, and I was like, that's an NBA player, dog.
Ooh, imagine we had him at wide receiver, dude.
Look at you. Get out of here, bro. He's like, I don't know why everyone like thinks Eagles fans suck. I was just like, we just talked about baseball for 40 minutes, and somehow you brought it back to the Eagles.
I mean, he's no Jalen Raker, but
Jalen who?
Riker.
Jalen Raker.
Oh, Rager. I heard Riker, and I was
Riker because that's where he belongs for the thievery that he caused.
Oh, dude, you guys drafted him.
You know, South Carolina just had a firing squad death penalty execution. Yeah, bring that back for Rager. Anyway, let's get off of this. Let's get back to baseball.
He derailed and then he's just like, how did we get here?
Anyway, so I got the Cubs winning. Who do you guys got? No, I'm just kidding. I'm telling you, Jermaine, this is your year, bro. This is your year. You'll lose in the first round, but you'll get into the playoffs.
This is your year.
Yeah.
This motherfucker.
Your year for the division, but after that, sorry,
dude,
bud.
How fun would it be?
I hope they vacate your
Cubs,
title
Phillies.
because Saquon tested positive.
That won't happen. If the Patriots didn't get any of their titles taken away, we're not getting ours taken away.
Nobody likes Philly though.
Whatever, dude. What I'm saying is,
They'll just put out a presser, and only half the population will be able to read it anyway. So the other half will just still be like, "Oh, we're still Super Bowl champs."
less than half, brother. It's fucking crazy. No, but wouldn't a little Cubbies, Phillies, playoff?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it, dude. I'd look. First of all, dude,
House might burn down, dude.
my thing is like, if my team makes the playoffs, I'm good. I want to win the championship, but I understand like realistic expectations.
Mhm.
But my team playing meaningful baseball in the best part of the season, when the stakes are the highest and the fans are the most raucous and every pitch is thunderous, and you're just like, fuck, what's going to happen? It's exciting as fuck. I just want to get there. The Cubs just have a problem of just doing just enough to be like, we should get there, but then the performance doesn't get there.
Well, here's an idea. Find a third baseman.
Look, there's two things you've heard me bitch about for a decade. Manchester United can't score goals, and third base at the Cubs does not work.
Yeah, dude, it's a curse.
It's crazy. Since Chris Bryant has been traded, and shout out Nevada.
We can rectify that if you'd like.
We'll give you nothing.
I have the proxy power from Monfort to talk about trades. So if you want to wheel and deal,
No, last trade I made almost destroyed the league. Can't do that again. No, dude. Look, Manchester United, dude, we just can't score goals. And the Cubs just can't find a third baseman. And it's been since basically the World Series. Because after the World Series, Chris Bryant fell the fuck off. And it was my favorite. It was my favorite thing to mess with Nick about, because I would always tell him that Chris Bryant was the best third baseman in the NL when you guys had Arenado. And
Don't you just love that player wins a championship and then forgets how to play the sport?
No, Eric. Here's what's so crazy about Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant came into the league Rookie of the Year, came into the league All-Star, came into the league MVP, came into the league, won the World Series, all within the span of 3 years. And my man doesn't even seem like he can throw from third to first anymore.
Stop caring, dude. You got that $200 million. He was like, I'm done. It's guaranteed money. I'm done. They got to pay me.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. Nevada's.
I think that's the biggest
like
takeaway.
Nevada's like, I saw this guy be good before. Like, what is the problem?
Play a sport where your contract's guaranteed. That's the takeaway from this lesson.
Yo, that's smart.
Hey, at least we're not the Angels with Anthony Rendon, right? That's another ball of wax.
Here's the thing: they went from Pujols to Rendon, like without missing a beat, dude.
I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't think I sent it to you guys, but based on Rendon's contract, for the amount of games that he has played and his contract, it comes out to he gets paid just under $1 million a game.
In Nevada, there's a website dedicated to it. There's a website.
Some pissed off Angels fan is like, God damn it!
There is a website dedicated to Anthony Rendon's contract and games played. I'll send it to you when we get off the line. I will send it to you. It's my favorite thing to talk about. It's the new for me. It's the new Bobby Bonilla Day. Yeah, Eric knows exactly what I was talking about, because I talk about it all the fucking time.
Because unlike the heathens that listen to us, we actually celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day here.
yeah, maybe I get drunk every Bobby Bonilla Day. Shout out my guy getting paid.
Yep.
Oh, goodness gracious. Look, to the listeners, I'm rooting for the Cubs, and I'm putting money on the Cubs to win the division. I've done it 3 years in a row. Like, what do you want from me? I've learned my lesson. I'd rather be wrong than sad. That's not the way it went. But anyways, you guys got anything for the 10s and 10s?
Go Birds.
Oh, my God. Why do people hate the Eagles?
Certified Cardinals fan. That's the only bird in the division.
Bring the hate. Bring the hate. I don't care, dude. I'm embracing the villain role.
Yeah, right.
I'm on my LeBron Miami tit, dog.
He's gonna come knock on my door. Hey man, lay off me, dude. I'm just a passionate fan.
Yeah, dude, get off my back. I'm just kidding.
Follow our sister pod, Revenge of the Pod, on all things social and wherever you get your podcasts. Follow Podcast Room 303 on follow at Podcast Room 303 on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. For myself, Jermaine Colon Mendez, for my co-host, for the executive producers, Nutty Putty and the EP. We'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.